90 days is finally over. Like, yeah, officially. I get to stay here in America.
As I told you guys in my last video on this topic, the tragic story of the death of 90 Day Fiance's Leida and Eric's 5-week-old baby is still developing, but I thought it would be important to clarify some questions people seem to be having regarding the couple's relationship timeline and their history of mistreating each other. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So from what I could find on Google, it looks like Eric Rosenbrook and Leida Margaretha from 90 Day Fiance got married on November 30th, 2017 in Jakarta, Indonesia. When the couple was actually on 90 Day Fiance, Eric later clarified that their ceremony in Jakarta was a commitment ceremony, not a legal wedding. I could not find a United States wedding date, but season 6 of 90 Day Fiance aired in 2018. And we know that Leida did complete the K-1 visa process, which means that she and Eric did get legally married. Their wedding probably occurred sometime in late 2017 or early-ish 2018.
Why don't you just make things organized? How hard is that?
All right, here you go. Once the dress is on, there's no turning back.
I feel so nervous right now because I'm gonna get married in a minute.
I feel I'm ready to marry Leida, knowing what may be given up to do so. But it is hard to think about getting married without my daughters being there. I just wish that Tasha and Tennille were here. I think they might be feeling that I'd be choosing Leida over them. And in a way I am, not in a bad way though. I have to focus on Leida and Alessandro.
Feel relieved and happy and so much love. Love is in the air right now.
Yeah, it bothers me that my 2 oldest daughters didn't make it to the wedding. I do hope that we will be able to mend this in the future.
I think, like, we do have Jenna here. I think that's enough. I always dreamed to live in America. I always want to pursue my medical career in America. So, yeah, I'm here. The greatest country in the world, right? Slimy.
If you watch their season and shoot, even from this short clip, you can tell these two are a toxic duo. Leida, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not a psychiatrist or a mental health professional, but she definitely seems to lack empathy and self-awareness. What that is clinically, I don't know, but I'm sure that it is something though. Not long into their marriage, there were headlines for allegations of domestic violence. Here's an article from E! News from January of 2019 detailing an alleged incident between the couple. The article quotes Eric as stating, "Leida and I had an altercation," Eric can be heard saying in the Instagram live video captured by fan accounts on social media Monday. Again, this article is from January of 2019. Quote, "She was threatening self-harm. I wrestled a knife from her, but my training took over. It triggered my training and I went too far. Nothing serious was caused other than emotional trauma, which is severe. I may have scratched her scalp. I did not realize I did that. After I wrestled the knife from her, my training took over and the only thing I could think of was to restrain her. It went too far," Eric continued. Quote, "I attempted to stand her up on her feet so I could look her in the face and restrain her wrists, but I pulled her up by her hair. She did not resist. Had she resisted, it may have snapped me back to reality and I would not have done it. Like to believe that I would not have continued to do it that way." He goes on, quote, "I do not excuse how it happened. I know I should have handled it differently." Eric went on to tell his followers, quote, "After I stood her up, I had to restrain her wrists. I was afraid of her hitting herself or myself. We argued and fought a little bit, not physically after that. I kept her against the wall in the kitchen, the corner, as she says. It's not really a corner. It's just the end of the kitchen. And I kept her there because she would have had to pass the sink again and the knife and knives. So I kept her there. I did not let her pass." Quote, "She insisted that she wanted wanted to call the police, Eric continued. I obliged. I said, okay. We called the police department. An officer responded. He took both our sides. It was very calm at that point, and they took her to the hospital for evaluation. Eric went on to say that he offered to stay at a hotel to give Leida, quote, some space. Spoiler alert, this relationship never gets any healthier. I already went over Leida's alleged financial crimes. I do not know what or if she's been convicted of anything in those charges, but I went over all of those in my last video, so I won't be touching on those in this video. This is strictly a relationship timeline of toxicity. I have no doubt that this couple remained toxic, but nothing seemingly warranted police intervention again until January 24th of 2025. And this time it was Leida that was arrested. And there's actually a police report that has been circulating that states at approximately 7:05 p.m. on January 24th, 2025, deputies responded to a disorderly call at address redacted in Adams County, Wisconsin. ETR, which I think is Eric's initials, and Leida's new puppy had pooped on the floor in the home. Leida became upset by this and wanted to hit the puppy with a laptop. ETR stopped Leida from doing so by grabbing her. Leida started to yell and shout when ETR stopped her from harming the puppy and went upstairs and grabbed a knife and wanted to harm herself. ETR followed her and grabbed her wrists to get the knife away from her to prevent her from doing so. Leida then went back to the puppy where she grabbed it and slammed it on the floor of the home, causing the puppy to yelp. ETR and Leida are married and reside together. Leida is on felony bond in Juneau County, case number blah, blah, blah. What's astounding to me is that there are at least 2 documented instances of Leida threatening self-harm with a knife. Wow. You know, they do say hindsight is 20/20, and I just have no idea what professional intervention, if any, could have done as far as preventing the death of this newborn. We don't know for sure how the newborn died. We will have to wait for autopsy results. But what we do have here is evidence of a deeply troubled young lady in a physically toxic relationship. I went over Eric's July 5th arrest in my last video, and again, between January and July of 2025, there was apparently no police intervention. But that doesn't mean that this was a healthy relationship in the meantime by any means. Here is a recording that I found posted on Reddit where Leida is discussing her past reputation. I believe this was recorded after Eric was arrested, but before it was made public that their child was on life support and then ultimately passed away.
Are easily to become like become a bad guy, you know, when actually like you're actually like the victim of the situation, but because the stigma or the image that people just see you as, you know, as a character or as an individuals. I mean, whatever. Like for example, like I got accused for like murder. Like, oh, I hit people, and then, you know, my dad gave the hush money, you know, like made up shit. And just like what happened back in January, saying like I abused the dog, like I slammed the dog, broken bones or whatever is that. Those made up shit, you know, it's really easily to paint it to me as a bad guy. Like people just believe it, knowing that it's not true. And I'm gonna fight it. You know, I am damn sure I'm gonna fight that at the court. So I don't know what's gonna happen for this time. What's gonna fight that at the court. So I don't know what's gonna happen for this time. What's gonna happen with the DEA? Are they going to charge him or not? But I will see. I will see if Eric is untouchable right now. I just wanna see. And maybe what happened, like last night, what happened yesterday. Maybe it will be like, I can use that as a, you know, as an evidence, like, hey, look, you know, because there's, of course, there's connection, because he was also drunk too back in January. That's why he sees something that is not even exist. He sees something like it not even like happened. So that's why, though, this is very dangerous, because I told him, like, you have to stop. You gotta stop drinking. And he promised me to do that. Like in the past, he promised me to do that many times, but he's still doing it. So it's not my fault, okay? It's not necessarily that he needs to restrain me. No, most of the time we just argue, and then he just went up crazy. He only restrained me twice. Okay, back in I think 2018 or 2019 or something like that. The first one, and the second one, it was like January, because of course, like, I was self-harm, and that's it. But not necessarily restrained, because he restrained me later on after he abused me, basically. So that's that. Insane. Yeah, right. So the more you know. So guess what? Motherfucker finally got arrested. It was last night, I think. I don't know. So the police or the sheriff came in today, gave me the paperwork, and asking me if I request like a no contact order to be enforced or no. And hell yeah, I want it to be enforced. I'm already like thinking about like filing a restraining order as well. Like extending the enforce of the no contact order. But I will request somehow, because I'm technically like, managing his schedule and everything going on. I will request, like, if there's any chance that we can still communicate, but through email, because I want everything to be traced, to be documented, to be like, having evidence, of the communication, so he can no longer lie or made up shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not texting, just email, but I want every like email to be CC. In my, with my lawyer or something like that, So I don't know if it's gonna be granted, but I have to tell them, at least I have to request them, because basically I manage his schedule, work schedule, finance, and everything like that. That's why, bills or whatever. That's why I need still to have him like contact me, but through email, because it's more like traceable, professional, and then trackable or whatever, you can see it, like the chains emails. So that's that though. But I'm glad this time the law enforcement did the right thing. They should do that. They should do the same right thing like they did right now back in January, because all the statement that he made about the dog, I'm abusing the dog, all the statement that he made about the dog, I'm abusing the dog, it was completely wrong. It was false. And I was hoping that those officers like look at the camera and then see what happened. The dog was fine. Like nothing got abused. Nobody's got abused. I'm the only one got abused. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad this time that my neighbor did the right thing to call the police, to call the law enforcement, because I was so scared, because I thought like I'm gonna get arrested again, because I see him like never get arrested. Every time that we get altercation, every time that we had like this same situation, call the police, he never get arrested. I always get inside the police car. It's always me. But this time I'm glad, like, justice finally, I know it's like coming like a little late, but it's better late than never. So that's a good thing. That's good news.
According to Eric's Facebook post on July 9th at 12:53 p.m., their 5-week-old daughter passed away. It will be interesting to see what arrests are made this week. I cannot imagine either of these two will remain free to roam the streets for very long. I'll continue to keep you all updated on the latest developments in this case. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Check out my second channel, Sarah Spills, and my podcast, Mostly Harmless. Links for both of those will be in the description of this video. Follow me on Instagram, Threads, X, and TikTok at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.